If you have lost a husband or a wife, there is a decision sitting in front of you right now, quietly, that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars over the rest of your life. And the Social Security Administration will almost certainly never explain it to you, unless you walk in already knowing the exact words to say. It is not a secret loophole. It is not a trick. It is a completely legal strategy built right into the rules. And yet the people who would benefit from it the most, widows and widowers in their 60s, are the very people who almost never hear about it, because nobody whose job it is to tell them ever does. Most people in this situation make one of two choices, and both of them quietly leave money on the table for the rest of their lives. There is a third choice, a way of using two different benefits in a specific order that can give you income now and a dramatically larger check later. Both, not one or the other. And here is the part that should make you lean in. The window for the first half of this strategy can open as early as age 60, years before most people think they are even allowed to touch Social Security. And the years you spend not knowing about it are years of income you simply never get back. So today, I am going to explain in plain English exactly what this strategy is, who it is for, why the government will not bring it up, and the precise question to ask so that you can claim what is already yours. Get a pen, because the order you do these things in is everything, and I'm going to give you that order step by step. Here is what I'm going to walk you through. First, the two separate benefits that almost no one realizes you may be able to use, and why people wrongly believe they have to choose just one. Second, the strategy itself, the specific order that gives you income early while your own benefit keeps growing, so you end up with more for the rest of your life. Third, why the Social Security Administration will process whatever you ask for, but will not volunteer this option to you. And fourth, the exact words to say when you call, so you do not get talked out of money you are entitled to. Stay with me through the second part especially, because the order is the entire game, and getting it backwards is the most common, most expensive mistake people make. My name is Reed Banks, and I work as a federal tax specialist. Most of my work is with retirees, on Social Security, Medicare, and the federal rules that decide how much of your own money you actually keep. I want to be careful and gentle here, because this is not just a money topic. It touches one of the hardest things a person goes through, losing a spouse. So let me say this plainly. I am not here to turn your loss into a transaction. I am here because on top of the grief, there is a real financial decision the system hands you at the worst possible moment, with almost no guidance. And getting it right can mean real security for the rest of your life. The person you lost would want you to have that. So let me make sure you do. Let me tell you about Dorothy, because Dorothy is who this is for. Dorothy is 61, a retired bookkeeper from outside Greenville, South Carolina. Last year, she lost her husband Ray after 40 years of marriage. Ray had been the higher earner, and his Social Security check was meaningfully larger than the one Dorothy had earned on her own record. In the fog of those first months, a well-meaning relative told Dorothy something that sounded reasonable. They told her, "Do not touch Social Security yet. Wait until you are older so your check will be bigger." So Dorothy waited, receiving nothing, getting by on savings, because she believed that claiming anything now would lock her into a smaller amount forever. And here is the quiet tragedy of that advice. It was half right, and the half that was wrong was costing Dorothy money every single month. Because Dorothy did not have one decision to make. She had two separate benefits, and she could use them in an order that would have given her a check starting immediately, at 61, while still letting her own benefit grow to its maximum later. Nobody told her that. She was leaving income on the table out of a belief that she was being responsible. When she finally called me, the first thing I had to do was explain that the choice was never wait or claim. The choice was, in what order do you use the two checks you are entitled to? So let me explain those two benefits, because everything depends on understanding that they are separate. The first is your own Social Security retirement benefit, the one based on your own work record, your own earnings over your own career. The second, if you are a widow or widower, is the survivor benefit, which is based on your late spouse's record. When your spouse passes away, you become entitled to a survivor benefit that can be as much as 100% of what they were receiving, if that amount is larger than your own. Now, here is the first thing almost no one knows. The survivor benefit can begin as early as age 60, not 62, not full retirement age, 60. Years earlier than most people believe they can collect anything. And here is the second thing almost no one knows. The thing that makes the whole strategy work. Your own retirement benefit and the survivor benefit are two different checks, and you do not have to start them at the same time. You are allowed to take one now and switch to the other later. Most people think Social Security is a single faucet you turn on once and live with forever. For a widow or widower, it can be two faucets, and the art is in which one you turn on first. Now here is the strategy itself, the order. And this is the single most valuable part of this video, so write it down. Step 1. As a widow or widower, you can begin collecting the survivor benefit as early as age 60, taking a reduced amount, while leaving your own personal retirement benefit completely untouched. That means income starts coming in during your 60s, money you would otherwise be doing without, like Dorothy was. Step 2. While you are collecting that survivor benefit, your own retirement benefit, the one on your own record, keeps growing. For every year you delay your own benefit past your full retirement age, up until age 70, it grows by about 8% a year. That is a guaranteed increase you will not find anywhere else. Step 3. At 70, when your own benefit has grown to its maximum possible amount, you switch. You move off the survivor benefit and onto your own now much larger retirement benefit. Or, and this matters, if at that point the survivor benefit is still the larger of the two, you simply stay on it. Either way, you have spent your 60s receiving income instead of receiving nothing, and you have locked in the highest possible check for the rest of your life. The household got money throughout those years and preserved the biggest long-term benefit. These two things, income now and a bigger check later, are not in conflict. The mistake Dorothy almost made, the mistake the relative pushed her toward, was treating them as if you can only have one. You can have both if you take them in the right order. Now let me be honest and careful, because this is where a responsible person earns your trust. This strategy fits a lot of widows and widowers beautifully, but not every single one. And the details of your situation matter. Which benefit is larger? Your age, your health, and your other income all affect the exact right move. Sometimes the survivor benefit is the larger one for life, and you simply take it. Sometimes your own benefit at 70 will tower over the survivor benefit, which is exactly when this switching strategy shines. The point is not that there is one answer for everyone. The point is that you have options the system will not lay out for you, and you cannot choose well among options you were never told you had. So the goal of this video is not to tell you the single right answer. It is to make sure you walk into that conversation knowing the two benefits exist, knowing they can be taken separately, and knowing that age 60, not 67, not 70, is when the first door can open. So why will the Social Security Administration not simply explain this to you? I want to be fair here because this is not a conspiracy. The people who answer the phones at Social Security are, in my experience, mostly decent people doing a hard job. But the system is built to process the claim you ask for, not to give you financial planning. If you call and say, "I would like to apply for benefits," they will help you apply for what you ask about accurately. They are generally not going to walk you through a multi-year switching strategy, run the comparison of taking the survivor benefit now versus your own benefit at 70, and coach you toward the combination that maximizes your lifetime income. That is planning, and it is simply not what that phone call is set up to do. So the responsibility, unfair as it is, falls on you to ask the right question, which means the entire difference between Dorothy getting this right and getting it wrong came down to whether she knew the words to say. Let me give you those words now. Here is the action step, the exact thing to do. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 or make an appointment at your local office. And do not just say you want to apply for benefits. Say this: "I am a widow or a widower, and I want to understand my options for taking a survivor benefit now while letting my own retirement benefit grow until 70. Ask them directly, what would my survivor benefit be if I claimed it now? And what would my own retirement benefit be if I waited until 70? Those two numbers, side by side, are the whole decision. Bring both Social Security numbers, yours and your late spouse's, and bring a copy of the death certificate if you have not already reported the passing. And one more piece of protection. If the person on the phone tries to steer you into a single decision without explaining both checks, politely hold your ground and ask again, specifically about claiming the survivor benefit and your own benefit separately. You are not being difficult. You are asking about something you are fully entitled to. If you want, you can also sit down with a fee-only financial advisor or a benefits counselor to run the exact numbers for your situation. But even just asking those questions at Social Security puts you light years ahead of where most people start. Now let me bring this back to Dorothy, because her story has a good ending. Once she understood that she had two benefits and not one, Dorothy claimed her survivor benefit, the one based on Ray's record, and money started arriving every month in her early 60s when she genuinely needed it. And her own retirement benefit, untouched, kept growing in the background, 8% a year, building toward a much larger check waiting for her at 70. She stopped draining her savings. She got breathing room. And she did it without giving up a dollar of the bigger benefit coming later. The only thing that changed for Dorothy was knowledge. Same rules, same Social Security, same entitlement she had all along. The only difference between the version of Dorothy who quietly went without and the version who got her income was one conversation, where she finally knew what to ask. So if you take one thing from this video, take this. If you have lost a spouse, you very likely have two Social Security benefits available to you, not one. And you do not have to choose between income now and a bigger check later. You may be able to have both by claiming the survivor benefit as early as 60, while your own benefit grows to its maximum at 70. The government will process whatever you ask for, but it will rarely lay this out for you, so you have to walk in knowing it exists. Dorothy waited and went without because someone told her that waiting was the responsible thing to do, when the truly responsible thing was to understand that she had options nobody had explained. Now you understand them. If this helped you, or if it might help someone you love, hit the like button, because it genuinely helps this reach one more widow or widower who is quietly going without income they are entitled to, simply because no one told them. And subscribe, because I break down one of these money rules in plain English every single week. And the next one I have for you is the exact order to draw down your retirement accounts, so you hand less of your savings to the IRS and keep more of it for yourself. And before you go, please do this one thing. If you know a widow or a widower, a parent, a friend, a neighbor from church who lost their spouse and is unsure about Social Security, send them this video. Because right now, there may be a check with their name on it that they are not collecting. And the only thing standing between them and it is knowing the right question to ask. You can be the one who hands them that question. This is Reed Banks, and I will see you in the next video.